All right, let's get a cheeky Tuesday recap in this bitch. So going into the day, we had um we had mostly consolidation in Asia and London. But then we put in this SMT, not there, there. ES swept out London highs, didn't sweep out Asia highs, but there was an SMT with London highs, so definitely want to see something significant swept or tapped into. We had this 4 hour gap that I want to see you guys get tapped into. And ES's 4 hour gap was a lot further down. So NQ tapped into that 4 hour gap. Let me show you on ES. Tapped into the 4 hour gap right here. And basically the whole entire day, it was just NQ wanted to go up now that it filled this, but ES still wanted to tap the 4 hour imbalance. So ES wanted to go down, NQ was wanting to go up, higher resistance liquidity, you know. We did have 10 a.m. news, so just want to see what that did. Didn't do shit today, but yeah, and also today I ended up taking one loss, just one trade, and I think it was a good trade. So let's go over it. So, bitch, going into the day, yeah. So right off of open, we tapped to that 4 hour, and then we got displacement back up into the range. Now I want to see these imbalances inverse, and I want to see retrace into like ideally a 5 minute gap, and then take it to London highs, this high and this high. This high is my main target, but I take a profit to London high and held it to here, and then maybe a runner there. Um, But then at that point, like, why hold a runner there? We can just take completely out there. So, but yeah, so we didn't get shit, as you can see. The only trade that was like okay in my opinion, that like, I'm happy I didn't take it, was this trade right here where we swept these highs right here, we retraced, we swept this liquidity, then we inverse this gap with displacement. That's what my mentor took. I was seconds away from entering this. But then I was like, why would I enter this when like we have days like yesterday where it was super clear, tap to 5 minute, super clear 1 minute inverse, all that crap. This just wasn't clear. We weren't inside any gap really. There was not a single gap actually there. There was a, if you want to count this tiny 1 minute gap that got disrespected, there's that gap. So there's no gap, but you did get a sweep and a displacement, inverse with displacement. So that was a good part, but just wasn't inside of the gap. So I didn't take that. And then yeah, as you can see, ES dragging NQ down still. Now this is when we came into this 15-minute fair value gap, which I expected to hold. Did it end up holding? Yes. So I was right with that. Um, what I wasn't right was the timing. So what I was looking at, right, is we came into this, we tapped into it. Um, ES then came down further. Now, so at this point, we swept out this low, which is enough for me to see a reversal, in my opinion. So we soup that low. There is this low, but it could hit it. But yeah, we swept liquidity. We're inside a 15-minute gap. ES finally taps to this 4 hour imbalance, and then we get displacement. And, obviously NQ is the stronger pair. So I'm waiting for this to inverse. I believe the 5 minute was also, yeah, we inversed the 5 minute here. So I entered on the 5 minute closure, retracement of the 5 minute closure. So I entered like right there. Stops are down here, expecting this inverse to hold. And yeah, there was this imbalance, but it's already mitigated down here, as you can see. So I don't really expect this to come all the way back after we inverse up here, come all the way back down to this tiny imbalance and then go all the way back up. It could, but I don't see it doing that. Um, and yeah, it got stopped out. And what ended up happening was it was just an inducement, and then the draw was hit later. We ended up sweeping this low, tapping back into that 4 hour imbalance on ES, and then finally getting that inverse right here. So you would have entered off of this candle, unless there's a 2 minute inverse. No. Yeah, so there's really no gaps in this leg. Um, there's a 4 minute. Is there a 5 minute? No. But honestly, this reaction right here is enough for me. This would have been my second trade, but yeah, I got off just because like price action was pretty bad. Um, but yeah, at this point, we're still inside the 15 minute. I believe we're still, yeah, we're still supporting it on that time frame. So it did technically get a close, but we still got a close right here. And I was like, okay, we got a close right there. I expect us to, retrace here and then get an inverse going down. Or if we just inverse this, I expect us to go higher. We didn't do that, but we ended up coming back to that gap and inversing this. So, you probably would have put your stops here, and TP1 would have been this high, TP2 this high, TP3 that high. So my trade did end up hitting, but just wasn't the correct time. Got induced, but that happens. Apparently, it wasn't a significant enough sweep. Apparently, that is what we wanted. So, is what it is. Everything else in the day is choppy. Just today was not a good trading day. The setup I did take was probably the only good setup that I can see. And the only reason why I didn't take this was just because, there's shitty price action, no reason to risk my capital on that. Um, and yeah, I'm happy with my trades today. Followed every single rule that I have, so nothing wrong.